Hello, and welcome to Germantown Municipal Television's special coverage of Election 2024. My name is Jack Bacher, and I'm a student at Houston High School. I'm excited to bring you interviews of Germantown School Board candidates. Joining me now is School Board Position 3 incumbent Brian Curry. Mr. Curry has been a resident of Germantown since 2007 and GMSD School Board member since 2020. He graduated from the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, majoring in transportation and logistics. He currently serves as project manager for FedEx International Operations, Policies and Procedures, and FedEx Practices for International Operations. Brian has been married for 22 years to Christy Curry. They have two daughters who attend GMSD schools. Mr. Curry is committed to making GMSD a better place. Mr. Curry, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Appreciate you having me.
Would you please introduce yourself and share what motivated you to run for a position on the school board?
So as you mentioned, my name is Brian Curry. I've got two kids in the district and lived here since 2007. I originally ran back in 2020 because I wanted to bring a skill set to the board that I thought would help add value to GMSD. And so we've had a really good tenure. We've gotten a lot of stuff done, which I look forward to talking to you about. But there's still work to do. And so that's why I'm running for re-election and hoping to continue the upward trajectory that we're on.
Sir, thank you. What is your vision for the Germantown Municipal School District over the next 4 years, and how do you plan to support that vision if elected?
So right now we're working on a strategic plan for the upcoming 4 to 5 year period. And so that's involving community meetings, town halls, surveys. And so the district right now is compiling all that, and there'll still be more meetings to come. And then they'll bring that forward to the board for us to vote on for approval. For me personally, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at maintaining our academic excellence. I'm looking at recruitment and retention of teachers, which will help the academic excellence. And then I'm also looking at our facilities. So I'm interested to see what the community comes back with. We've heard some feedback so far, but I'm looking forward to supporting that as a board member and seeing what we can do from a resources standpoint and policies, whatever we can do to help bring that vision to reality.
Yes, sir. The Houston High School Master Plan is a key initiative for our district. How do you propose finding the necessary funding to support this project without compromising other district priorities?
So I think it's important to understand where our funding comes from. So we as a district have no ability to raise money. So we get funding for capital improvement projects annually from the county commission based on our property taxes. So we're able to do things like paint, we're able to do HVAC replacements, things of that nature. But for this is major brick and mortar. And so we have to rely on our funding partner, which is the city, to make this happen. And so for us, what we're having to do is work with the city and make sure they understand the need. There's a prioritization. The city has funding needs such as drainage and police and fire and all of the things that are required to run a city. But I think from an education standpoint, we in the city are we're pulling in the same direction. And as we go, the city goes. And then from a public safety standpoint, so you have to look at why people are moving into Germantown. So it's a complex issue, but for us, we don't have the ability to raise money right now for brick and mortar. The cost of construction is through the roof. So for us, we have to work with the city. Now, there's a $170 million master project plan, but that's for everything. We don't even have access to all of our property at this point. So for us, it's what can we do given the funding that we have and in prioritizing that. For me personally, and I'm just one board member, but for me, we need to do something with our fine arts. We've got our award-winning orchestra program that's basically in a storage room where they're in the storage room, spill out into the hall and into the cafeteria. We have our visual arts painting things, that they're in a closet basically. Our students deserve better. And so for me personally, again, I want to see us prioritize brick and mortar for fine arts as soon as possible. We need a new theater in the worst way. And so that's what I would strive for. But we also have chemistry labs here that are the same as it was when we opened in 92 or in the early 90s. And so we need to do something there from the academic side. Obviously, we're supporting our sports. We just voted as a board to add an 8th lane to the track and resurface it and then renovate the home side bleachers. So that's the first part of that. We're able to do things like that, but for the brick and mortar, we've got to have help from the city, and we need the community really fully behind this to understand that a rising tide lifts all boats, and if we do that, everyone wins.
Thank you. As an incumbent, what are you most proud of accomplishing during your time on the board, and how do you plan to build on those achievements in the coming term?
So I'm really proud of our investments in our people through pay increases, benefits, things of that nature. I'm very proud of that. I'm also proud of our investments in our facilities. And then I'm proud of our academic success. When we look at our third grade population, they were impacted by state law that you have to pass a test and be proficient at reading to go on to the next level. And so it really required a lot of work from our first, second, and third grade teachers to really get our students prepared for that. We lead the state in third grade reading proficiency, so I'm extremely proud of that. But that requires work from everyone. But again, I think investing in our teachers, giving them resources, basically giving them the tools to do their job, that facilitates that from a result standpoint. So I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish there. And obviously, seeing our students succeed and our families succeed, that's great for everyone.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Given your experience, how do you plan to maintain the high standards of academic and extracurricular excellence in GMSD while also addressing any areas where improvement is needed?
So as a board, obviously we set the expectation, working through the superintendent, and it's part of our goals. We need to maintain and continue to improve. So even though we lead the state in third grade reading proficiency, we're not sitting on our laurels and patting ourselves on the back and saying we're done. The work is never done. So we're still constantly trying to get that extra percent. And as you know, from a growth perspective, if you're at 80% trying to get to 85, it's a lot tougher than going from 30% to 50%. And so our teachers are doing an outstanding job. I've seen it. I've been into workrooms at our elementary schools where there's data, just sheets all over the walls, and they're looking at specific state standards, and they're working and saying this standard, and they're looking at data, and they're making data-driven decisions, which is near and dear to my heart. So I'm very happy to see that. The teachers are also working together in our professional learning communities. So teachers in the third grade group, for instance, they're working with Forest Hill, Dogwood, Riverdale, Farmington. They're all working together, and they're sharing best practices, and they're communicating, and by doing that, that's helping everyone. So I'm really happy with the work that our teachers are doing, and I think we just have to not say, hey, we're doing great and we're leading the state in all these categories, because that's today. That's not going to be tomorrow. So we still have to do the work, but from what I've seen as a board member, the work that our teachers are doing, it's just outstanding, and I couldn't be more proud of the work that they're doing and what we've accomplished.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Looking beyond the next 4 years, what long-term goals do you have for GMSD, and how will you work with the board and community to achieve them?
So as I mentioned, continuing to maintain that academic excellence and continuing to grow. I think that's right up there for me, because that's everything. Our facilities, again, as we discussed, Houston High, the master plan, that's got to get done. So how do you do that? Again, I'm just one board member. So you have to build consensus, you have to work together, you have to work with our city partners, and I'm really proud of the relationship that we have with them. It's a very constructive, open communication, and so they understand the need, but I think it's working and everyone pulling in the same direction. And if we can do that, we're going to meet our goals. But there's going to be the continuing challenge for us, because with public education, we're hearing the fight for vouchers and things like that will negatively impact public education in Germantown. And so we're making sure that we advocate to all of our residents, many who might not be engaged with our school, where they might be older and never had a kid here, or the kids attended private schools, but they're still stakeholders in the district. So we've got to make sure that they understand that what we do matters to them. For property values, the quality of life in the community, what we do here, not only in this building at Houston High, but all of our schools, it matters. And so I think just working and still conveying that message, I think that's going to help us get where we want to go.
Thank you for your answer. Well, Mr. Curry, we appreciate your time greatly. Thank you again for joining us here today.
Thank you, Jack.
That is all we have for this interview. I would like to thank my guest, Brian Curry, who is running for Germantown School Board Alderman Position 3. If you would like to watch more of our election coverage, please follow us on our YouTube channel as well as Comcast channel 1083 and AT&T Uverse channel 99. We will be back with more interviews from Germantown aldermen and school board candidates. Thanks for watching.